am I this person really?
Yes, you are.
Wow.
How does it feel to be this person?
Super proud and really.
Just why do I do the things I do? What are my values, my beliefs? What is my individual why? Many people ask themselves this question, but how many can give a clear answer?
This is the moment.
This is
of
the
truth.
moment to talk real.
Okay.
So before we start,
yeah.
I would like to ask you a question, because we will probably never get this answer back like this again.
Okay.
So what do you think? Why do you love your work so much, or why do you like to work at Transporeon?
So there is basically a combination of different factors, let's say. Firstly, because I feel that I really belong to the company, in the sense that we have this culture where there is like this great sense of unity. But additionally to this, I also love my job because it's super interesting. I still have the feeling that I can keep learning a lot.
But now, it's all about your why,
Okay.
your personal why. So it's about your stories, and it's actually, the why is nothing we can create or like we want to be, because it's actually what we are.
Mm-hmm.
So in its true essence.
My grandma used to volunteer for more than 30 years into an elderly house. At first, I was feeling like super bored, let me tell you, because I was 8 years old or 9 years old or 7 years old, and I was going with my grandma to this elderly house, and all these old people were trying to kiss you, hug you, and things like that. And after like 10 kisses, as a child, you were like, enough, come on, really. It was simply the question of staying there, yeah, like spending the time with these people, right? I wanted to spend time with my grandma, but maybe not in that way. But I also need to admit that when I was coming back home, or whenever we were coming back to her place, because many times I also stayed at her place, I felt like very good, in the sense of saying, hey, I have simply stayed in here for just a couple of hours. I haven't done really nothing productive or something, but I feel happy, right? Like in the bottom of my heart, I can really say that, yeah, I feel satisfied. After a couple of hours, I felt that these old people were feeling so happy just for the fact that I was kissing them, for example, or giving them a hug, that I was like, hey, Elena, yeah, I mean, to me it is so easy to kiss them or something. And yeah, I'm also feeling happy. Since that moment, I knew that it was important to really try to take care, or really to invest time in people. So not doing what at first I wanted to do, but also trying to take care for someone else. And this is something that has came to my mind many times over my life. My grandma is the best cooker ever, you know. So, and I'm sure that exactly. And I'm sure that if I also ask you, like, who is the best cooker ever, you will also tell me, no, it's my grandma, the one who cooks the best. I have always admired her, because I really think that she has had a tough time. Really, she's been like super independent person, really. Like, but she has never had this feeling of saying, hey, oh, come on, look at these things that have happened to me, I'm going to stay at home crying. Like, no, she always said, I'm not going to blame anyone. So if these are my new cards and I need to play this game with these new cards at the moment, this is what I'm going to do. I also think, and I still think, that it's important to take care of ourselves, not only in terms of food, but also treating our body in a good way, right? So that's when I was playing football, and at the moment I have switched to running. It was a tradition since my brother got born that on the 31st of December, every member of my family were gathering at my parents' house, right? So not only that, the thing is that in Spain, that day of the year is a tradition that there is this race, this 10-kilometer race, when all the families are running together, right? So the thing is that since I was probably already 10, I started asking my parents for permission to participate into the race. And they were saying hey, there is no way that you are going to finish these 10 kilometers. In any case, as I tend to be many times a very stubborn person, when I was 12 years and a half, I participated for the first time in this San Silvestre race. And to me, it was a nightmare, let me tell you. But the thing is that I managed to finish this race. I was in so much pain. I was super angry. I was complaining. Mentally, I was thinking all the time oh my goodness, why did I decide to participate into this race? This is never going to happen again. In all aspects of my life, I really tried to set up some goals, right? So personal, professional, whatever. Right? So in terms of sport, I started asking myself why I don't try to go back to running again. And once I manage or I run this 10 kilometer, again, as I'm a person who tries to set up new goals, I was already thinking about what was going to be the next thing, right? What if I can really keep running? And that's when my mind started thinking about these images, finish line. Elena, just imagine if you could finish this half marathon even though you have not trained for this. Just imagine, and I was really visualizing myself in the finish line. I was having so much fun. So it was super beautiful. I was running all across the main streets in Madrid, and there were a lot of people cheering out, and I was playing a super nice music, right? And still this question, what if, Elena, just imagine that you could finish. I have also achieved to do something that many of my family members have also done in the past. So really I'm very proud of being a Silvestre in this case, right? But more because of this sense of belonging, even more to my family. The very first time that I attended a summer camp, I was 9 years old, 9, 10. We always remember this story because once we went hiking and our counselors told us that we were allowed to drink certain water, okay? But what we didn't know back then is that we shouldn't have had that water, okay? Which means that the late after or 2 days later, 80% of the attendees were sick, literally, all of us. We were throwing up, we were really, really, really sick. And at the end of this summer camp, after these 15 days, the counselors selected 3 kids, like the ones who had behaved or the ones who had enjoyed the most of the camp or the ones who had made more friends, things like that, right? And I was selected as a third position.
Why? What do you think was it about that you were selected?
I think that because even though I was sick for 4 days or 5 out of the 15th, in general, I try to enjoy things, right? Even when I was 10, I try not to complain that much. So even though maybe we were feeling a little bit sick or a little bit low, you remember the story that I was telling you before about my grandma. So these are my circumstances. Okay, maybe I can let you know one time, but there is no need that I only think about this. So yeah, for sure, we were sick, but still we were at a summer camp, and in any case trying to enjoy the activities that we could do, right? So I think that they reward me basically because of the attitude in general. When I was 20, I had the possibility of traveling to Cameroon to volunteer. I was super excited to be there because everything was new to me, everything was super different to what I was used to, right? To my life in Madrid. But after the third or fourth day, I was feeling that I could not handle this very well because I started realizing that there was like a lot of poverty, right? That there were people who were really dying. Made me thought about trying to find an exit way. While I was in Cameroon, my grandfather was very sick. Doctors were saying that it was going to be a question of literally days that he was going to die. I started to think to myself, Elena, what if you tell the manager of this organization that your grandfather is getting much sicker, right? Therefore, you really need to take a flight back to Spain. I didn't even ask this question at the end because I was being realistic and I knew that there was going to be no chance that I could fly back to Spain because literally we were in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Elena, what do you want to do? Because this is what it is. I mean, are you going to stay with the same attitude over the next days or not?
Tell me a little bit, like, what did you do in this situation when you were on your own with your mind at this point?
Yeah.
Tell me, what did you feel?
I was feeling scared, literally. My mind was there, like running super fast. Like I had those like a lot of thoughts about these very pessimistic thoughts. You know, like this has been a mistake. You should have never come here. You were not prepared. Like you are going to suffer a lot. You are not going to be capable of handling this situation. So my mind was literally going crazy.
Obviously, first of all, you kind of thought you have two options. And then what happened when you realized, oh my gosh, there's just one option?
Exactly. So at the end of the day, there was only one option, external option, right? So the option was that I was going to stay there whether I wanted or not. That was my reality. But again, I still had two options from my own behavior. The situation is going to be still quite hard because you are going to keep meeting people who is suffering from heart diseases, right? And they are really poor, right? Really poor. But why don't you try to take something out of this experience? Why don't you try to involve yourself? Why don't you try to learn something, right? So really change my mind. And basically, this is what I did. that day I thought that this was what being an older person or a grown-up person meant, right? Like, Elena, you took the decision of coming and now you have to face the consequences. As easy as that. Even though we also ran these 10 kilometers and I wanted to quit, so it's exactly the same. It's like you literally need to face the consequences. When I was 17, I had this big, super big fight with my closest friends from school. One day, we had this big discussion, and I literally like kind of exploded because as I have kept my feelings for many weeks, I had that there was like one moment when this last drop and the glass of water like pours, right? I remember that I was saying many mean things that I regret afterwards saying, you know? So I was kind of showing the worst version of myself. This situation shocked myself because I was also frightened about this version of myself that I was seeing. Like, am I also this person? I mean, yeah. And I also felt like super, or I felt like really bad, or yeah, very lonely. And I felt in general like a bad person. This situation was terrible to me because I somehow um, uh, understood or realized that I could also be a bad person if I was not controlling my emotions or if I was only driven by the emotions.
But now it's like this actually changed your
Yeah, yes.
way of
Yes.
communicating your
Yeah,
emotions.
yes, absolutely. So this changed me over the next years because as I was that scared about the person that I was behaving, I started asking to myself, how did that happen? So that's when I learned that it was important to really share feelings. To say that maybe something it is not important if at the bottom of your heart, to me, it is important, right? So trying to learn to better communicate. From the very beginning, not only Alfredo, Andrea as well, but especially some of my colleagues were super nice. So after 5 years, I can really say that Alfredo is not only my colleague, for sure, he's my colleague, we work together. He has this great personality, he's never complaining, he's a person that I also look up to, really. And he's been working in the logistic sector for more than 30 years. Also from the professional perspective, because of his background, he's also a mentor to me. I couldn't be any happier to have a colleague like him. This is also something that I'm, again, very proud of. I'm very happy that I have a colleague who is not only a friend to me, but also is a mentor, and he's a person that I really look up to. And I know that if I have any problem or difficulty, personal difficulty, not only in terms of customer request or whatever, but personal difficulty, he's also there. So, and this is also something that thanks to the Transporeon, I got to meet that this amazing person.
So for now,
Okay.
then we're gonna do it now,
Okay.
creating one sentence with these like huge topics.
My goal is to be a good person and trustworthy, to always keep the attitude in every situation in life so that people can feel a sense of belonging.
I like it. Thank you so much.
You are always cheering up people, like
Yeah.
excited and being enthusiastic in all kinds of situations where they are lost, feeling lost or whatever. So you always keeping the attitude and
Try to.
yeah, and encouraging them as well.
Oh, that sounds amazing, really.
Transporeon has some values, and what is the most important value for you?
So the idea of trusting other people and the idea of a community. I think that there are many other people, many other colleagues who are also enthusiastic about their job, who they also keep their attitude, who they are also very good persons, and that they also make me feel that I belong. So it's not only a question of me having all these values, but I know, and I can tell you that there are a lot of colleagues that I also share these values or these whys and this hows with. So